In a crowded urban block, an excavator begins removing an unauthorized structure. Almost immediately, movement transfers into the surrounding buildings. Never proceed with demolition or structure removal without a comprehensive structural engineering assessment of all neighboring properties. On an industrial street, a forklift prepares to unload with its forks extended into the lane. An approaching cargo trike does not immediately recognize the obstruction. Never extend forklift tines into a traffic lane without high visibility controls in place. Bare steel forks are narrow and can visually merge with asphalt or concrete surfaces. To approaching drivers, they may not be easily distinguishable until the available stopping distance becomes limited. Establish a clearly defined safe perimeter using traffic cones, reflective tape, and warning signage before entering any shared roadway. At a factory entrance, a white box truck reverses toward the facility's steel gate. Contact with the structure affects the upper guide rollers, and the sliding gate begins to shift out of alignment. Never stand within the movement zone of a sliding gate while vehicles are maneuvering nearby. Sliding gates are engineered to glide along a vertical guide track and are not designed to absorb horizontal vehicle force. When retention rollers are compromised, the gate may lose proper alignment and move beyond its engineered track position under its own weight. Install heavy-duty bollards to protect gate tracks and structural supports from unintended vehicle contact. Drivers reversing in confined spaces must use a trained spotter to prevent contact with structural elements that could compromise heavy assemblies. In a snowy demolition zone, a worker removes a key support column while positioned beneath the roof. The overhead structure starts to move. Never remove a load-bearing support while positioned within the structure's projected movement area. Structural loads transfer immediately when a primary column is removed. Once integrity conditions change, gravity redistributes weight without delay. Anyone remaining within that transfer zone is exposed to an elevated hazard condition. Use mechanical equipment, such as an excavator, with a grapple to remove supports from a controlled distance. If manual dismantling is required, install temporary shoring systems to carry structural loads before altering primary members. In an open-air workshop, a forklift lowers a wide plywood load as a worker crouches in front of it. The operator cannot see the ground-level area ahead. Lowering a load without direct line of sight creates a restricted visibility placement. Risk: wide materials such as plywood panels obscure ground-level positioning zones. If communication is incomplete or visual confirmation is absent, the space directly in front of the forklift becomes an elevated operational risk area for anyone positioned there. Operators must wait for a confirmed all-clear signal from a designated spotter before lowering loads. Pedestrians must avoid positioning themselves beneath or directly in front of elevated materials. In a busy warehouse, a worker crosses the travel path of a moving forklift. The load being carried blocks the operator's forward view. Never cross the travel path of a forklift without confirmed visual acknowledgement from the operator. The mast assembly, overhead guard, and carried load create significant visual obstructions. Without confirmed awareness, pedestrians entering the travel path are exposed to an elevated operational exposure condition. Use designated pedestrian walkways and stop at all warehouse intersections. Wait for the operator to bring the forklift to a complete stop and signal acknowledgement before crossing. At a loading bay, a forklift drives into the rear of a delivery truck during operations. While the forklift remains inside, the truck unexpectedly begins to move forward. When a truck moves while a forklift bridges the gap, the support surface may no longer remain aligned. The forklift transitions from supported equipment to a misaligned support condition, resulting in a rapid loss of stable alignment at the dock interface. Facilities must implement vehicle restraint systems, such as dock locks or properly installed wheel chocks, to prevent trailer movement. Drivers should follow key control or lockout-style procedures to ensure the vehicle cannot be operated until loading is complete and the forklift has exited the trailer safely. On this factory floor, a worker stands near a freight elevator entrance while a forklift reverses in his direction. Due to rear blind spots, the operator does not detect the pedestrian. Never stand between moving equipment and a vertical service opening or fixed structure. Standard elevator doors are not engineered to resist vehicle contact. When subjected to equipment force, they may deform or displace, exposing a vertical shaft opening that must be treated as a critical safety boundary. Install reinforced bollards in front of elevator landings to restrict vehicle access. Operators must physically turn and confirm blind spot clearance before reversing. Pedestrians must avoid standing within the movement radius of mobile machinery. On an elevated industrial platform, a worker operates a utility vehicle near the platform boundary, and it didn't go as planned. Operating mobile equipment near unprotected platform edges creates an edge exposure hazard. Visual perception from a seated position can distort depth awareness. Once the vehicle's center of gravity shifts beyond the supported surface, stability correction becomes difficult, and recovery may be limited without engineered barriers. On a roadway, a motorcyclist travels alongside a loaded truck. During vehicle movement, unsecured freight shifts and falls off the truck. Transporting cargo without verified securement creates a load containment exposure. During acceleration, braking, or turning, loads experience dynamic force redistribution. If tie-down systems are insufficient, damaged, or improperly rated, materials may shift beyond the trailer boundary and enter surrounding traffic lanes. Drivers must follow regulated cargo securement standards, ensuring tie-down systems are properly rated for the full load weight and rechecked after departure. Motorcyclists should avoid prolonged positioning alongside heavy trucks. On this factory floor, a worker stands near a large steel coil secured with tensioned banding. Without warning, the band releases unexpectedly. Coiled materials store significant potential energy. When banding releases unexpectedly, that stored energy can discharge rapidly. Improper stacking configurations or insufficient guarding increase the likelihood of outward material movement beyond the designated storage footprint. Install heavy-duty coil guards or engineered retention cages capable of containing band release events. Inside a manufacturing plant, routine work continues below. Overhead, parts of the roof assembly begin to move. Roof structural performance issues often result from overload conditions, commonly due to accumulated snow, water pooling, or long-term material fatigue. When a primary truss loses capacity, weight redistributes across remaining supports. This redistribution can initiate a structural capacity reduction across the system, affecting multiple sections of the roof structure. Implement seasonal structural inspections and remove excess snow accumulation from flat roofs promptly. Monitor for early indicators such as sagging members, misalignment, or unusual sounds from the overhead structure. If structural performance concerns are suspected, the area should be cleared immediately until a qualified engineering assessment is completed